Shri Sai Nadhaya Namaha, Shri Sai Satcharitra, chapter number 4. In the last chapter, I described about the circumstances which led me to write Sai Satcharitra. Let me now describe the first advent of Sai Baba in Shirdi. Mission of the Saints. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, 7th shloka and 8th shloka that whenever there is a decay of dharma, righteousness, and an ascendancy of unrighteousness, I manifest myself for the protection of the virtuous and the destruction of the vicious, and for the establishment of righteousness, I manifest myself age after age. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chatushrutam dharma samsthapanardhaya sambhavami yuge yuge. This is the shloka from Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 4, verses 7 and 8. This is the mission of the Lord and the sages and saints who are his representatives and who appear at appropriate times and work in their own way to fulfill that mission. For instance, when the twice born, that is the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas neglect their duties, and when the Shudras try to usurp the duties of other classes, when the spiritual preceptors are not respected but humiliated, when nobody cares for religious instructions, when everybody thinks himself very learned, when people began to partake of forbidden foods and intoxicating drinks, when under the cloak of religion people indulge in malpractices, when people belonging to different sects fight amongst themselves, when Brahmins fail to do the Sandhya Vandan, adoration of Sandhya time, and the Orthodox leave their religious practices, when yogis neglect their meditation, when people begin to think that wealth, progeny, wife are their sole concern, and thus turn away from the true path of salvation, then saints appear and try to set matters right by their words and action. They serve us as beacon lights and show us the path and the right way for us to follow. In this way, many saints like Nivrutti, Gyanadev, Muktabhai, Namadev, Gora, Gonai, Ekanath, Tukaram, Narahari, Narsibhai, Sajan Kasai, Savata Mali, Ramadasa, and various others did appear at various times to show the right path to the people, and so the present advent came as Shri Sai Baba of Shirdi. Shirdi, the holy Tirtha. The banks of the Godavari river in the Ahmednagar district are very fortunate, for they gave birth and refuge to many a saint, a prominent amongst them being Gnaneshwar Maharaj. Shirdi also falls in the Kopargam Taluka or the Ahmednagar district. After crossing the Godavari river at Kopargaon, one gets on way to Shirdi. When you go 3 course, which is nothing but 9 miles, you come to Neemgaon, from where Shirdi is visible. Shirdi is as famous and well known as the other holy places like Ganagapura, Narasimhavadi, Audambara, and the banks of the Krishna river. As the devotee Damoji flourished and blessed Mangalveda near Pandharpur, as the Samartha Ramadasa Swami at Sajjankad, as Shri Nrusimha Saraswati Swami at Saraswati Vadi, so Sainatha flourished at Shirdi and blessed it. Personality of Sai Baba. Let us look into the personality of Sai Baba. It is on account of Shri Sai Baba that Shirdi grew into importance. Let us see what sort of a personage Sai Baba was. He conquered this samsara, worldly existence, which is very difficult and hard to cross. Peace or mental calm was his ornament, and he was the repository of wisdom. He was the home of Vaishnav devotees, most generous like Karna, amongst all, the quaint essence of all essences. He had no love for perishable things and was always engrossed in self realization, which was his sole concern. He felt no pleasure in the things of this world or the of the world beyond. His antarang, his heart, was clear as a mirror, and his speech always rained nectar. The rich or poor people were the same of him. He neither knew nor cared for honor or dishonor. He was the Lord of all beings. He spoke freely and mixed with all people, watched the actings and dances of Nach girls, and heard ghazal songs. Still, he swerved not an inch from samadhi, which is mental equilibrium. The name of Allah was always on his lips. While the world awoke, he slept, and while the world slept, he was vigilant. His inner self was as calm as the deep sea. His ashram could not be determined, nor his actions could be definitely determined. And though he sat in one place, he lived in one place, he knew all the transactions of the world. His darbar was imposing. He told hundreds of stories daily. Still, he swerved not an inch from his vow of silence. He always leaned against the wall in the masjid or walked morning, noon, and evening towards Lendi Bagh, Nala, and Chavdi. Still, he at all times abided in the self. Though a Siddha, he acted like a sadhaka. He was meek, humble, and egoless, and pleased all. Such was Sai Baba. And as the soil of Shirdi was trodden by Sai Baba's feet, it attained extraordinary importance. As Gnaneshwara Maharaj elevated Alandi, Eknath Maharaj did to Paitan, so Sai Baba raised Shirdi. Blessed are the grass leaves and stones of Shirdi, for they could kiss the holy feet of Sai Baba and take his dust on their head. Shirdi became to us devotees another Pandharpur, Jagannath, Dwaraka, Benaras, Kashi, and Rameshwara, Badrikedar, Nashik, Trayambakeshwar, Ujjaini, and Mahakaleshwar, or Mahabhaleshwar Gokarna. Contact of Sai Baba in Shirdi was like our study of Veda and Tantra. It quietened our world consciousness, samsara, and rendered self realization. The darshan of Sri Sai was our yoga sadhana, and talk with him removed our sins. Shampooing his legs was our bath in Triveni Sangama, Triveni Prayaga, and drinking the holy water of his feet destroyed our sins. To us, his commands were Vedas, and accepting his Udi, sacred ashes, and prasad was all purifying. He was our Sri Krishna, he was our Sri Rama, who gave us solace, and he was our Parabrahma, absolute reality. He was himself beyond the pair of dvandvas, which is opposites, dualities, never dejected nor elated. He was always engrossed in his self as existence, knowledge, and bliss. Sat, Chit, and Ananda, Satchidananda. Shirdi was his center, but his field of action extended far beyond to Punjab, Calcutta, North India, Gujarat, Dhaka, now in Bangladesh, and Konkan. Thus, the fame of Sai Baba spread far and wide, and people from all parts came to take his darshan and be blessed. By mere darshan, minds of people, whether pure or impure, would become quiet at once. They got here the same unparalleled joy that devotees get at Pandharpur by seeing the Vittal Rakumayi. This is not an exaggeration. Consider what a devotee says in this respect. Dictum of Gaulibuva, an old devotee by name Gaulibuva, aged about 95 years, was a Varkari of Pandari. He stayed for 8 months at Pandharpur and for 4 months Ashada Masa to Kartika Masa, July to November, on the banks of the Ganges. He had a donkey with him for carrying his luggage and a disciple as his companion. Every year he made his vari or trip to Pandharpur and came to Shirdi to see Sai Baba, whom he loved most. He used to gaze at Baba, saying that this is Pandarinath Vitthal incarnate, the merciful Lord of the poor and helpless. This Gaulibuva was an old devotee of Vithoba and had many trips to Pandari, and he testified that Sai Baba was really Pandarnath, real Pandarnath. Vittal himself appeared. Sai Baba was very fond of remembering and singing God's name. He always uttered Allah Malik. God is Lord. And in his presence made others sing God's name continuously, day and night, for all 7 days of the week. This is called as Nama Saptaha. Once he asked Dasganu Maharaj to do the Nama Saptaha. He replied that he would do it provided he was assured that Vittal would appear at the end of 7th day. Then Baba, placing his hand on his chest, assured him that certainly Vittal would appear, but for that the devotee must be earnest and devout. The Dankapuri, Thakur of Dakurnath, the Pandari of the Vittal, Dwarka of Ranchod Krishna is here, Shirdi. One need not go far out to see Dwarka. Will Vittal come here from some outside place? He is already here. Only when the devotee is bursting with love and devotion, Vittal will manifest himself here in the Shirdi. After the Saptaha was over, Vittal did manifest himself in the following manner. Kaka Sahib Dikshit was, as usual, sitting in meditation after his bath. He saw the Vittal in a vision. When he went at noon for Baba's darshan, Baba asked him point blank, "Did Vittal Patil came? Did you see him? He is a very truant fellow. Catch him firmly, otherwise he will escape if you even a little inattentive." This happened in the morning, and at the noon there was another Vittal darshan. A hawker came there for selling 25 or 30 pictures of Vithoba. This picture exactly tallied with the figure that had appeared in Kaka Sahib's vision. On seeing this and remembering Baba's words, Kaka Sahib Dikshit was much surprised and delighted. He brought one picture of Vithoba and placed it in his shrine of worship, which is called Puja Mandir. Bhagavantrao Ksheerasagar's story. How fond was Baba for Vittal worship was illustrated in Bhagavantrao Ksheerasagar's story. The father of Bhagavantrao was a devotee of Vithoba and used to make varis, means annual trips, to Pandharpur. He also had an image of Vithoba at home, which he worshipped every day. After his death, the son stopped everything, the vari, annual trip, the worship, and the Shraddha ceremony, etc. Shraddha ceremony, like we do for after death. When Bhagavantrao came to Shirdi, Baba, on remembering his father, at once said, "His father was my friend, so I dragged him here." Means Baba dragged the son here. He never offered Naivedya, offering of food, and so he starved Vittal and me. So I brought him here. I shall remonstrate him now and set him to worship. Das Ganu's bath in Prayaga. The Hindus think that a bath in the holy Tirtha of Prayaga, where the Ganga and Yamuna meet, is very meritorious, and thousands of pilgrims go there periodically to have the sacred bath there. Once Dasganu thought that he should go to Prayaga for a bath and came to Baba to get his permission for doing so. Baba replied to him, "It is not necessary to go so far. Our Prayaga is here, believe me." Then, wonder of wonders, when Dasaganu placed his head on Baba's feet, out flowed streams of Ganga, Yamuna water from the both the toes of Baba. Seeing this miracle, Dasganu was overwhelmed with feelings of love and adoration, and tears filled his eyes. Inwardly, he felt inspired, and his speech burst forth into a song in praise of Baba and his Leelas. Immaculate conception of Sai Baba and his first advent in Shirdi. Nobody knew the parents' birth or birthplace of Sai Baba. Many enquiries were made, many questions were put to Baba and others regarding these, but no satisfactory answer or no information has yet been obtained. Practically, we know nothing about these matters. Namdev and Kabir were not born like ordinary mortals. They were found as infants in mother of pearls. Namdev being found on the bank of Bhimaradi river by Gonai, and Kabir on the bank of Bhagirathi river by Tamal. Similar was the case of with the Sai Baba. He first manifested himself as a young lad of 16 years under a neem tree in Shirdi for the sake of Bhaktas. Even then, he seemed to be full of the knowledge of Brahma. He had no desire for worldly objects even in dreams. He kicked out Maya, and Mukti deliverance was serving at his feet. One old woman of Shirdi, the mother of Nana Chopdar, described him like this. This young lad, fair, smart, and very handsome, was first seen under the neem tree, seated in an asan. The people of the village were wonderstruck to see such a young lad practicing hard penance, not minding heat and cold. By day he associated with none, by night he was afraid of nobody. People were wondering and asking whence this young chap had turned up. His form and features were so beautiful that a mere look endeared him to all. He went to nobody's door, always sat near the neem tree. Outwardly, he looked very young, but by his action, he was really a great soul. He was the embodiment of dispassion and was an enigma to all. One day, it so happened that God Khandoba possessed the body of some devotee, and people began to ask him, Deva, you please inquire, what blessed father's son is this lad, and whence did he came? God Kandhova asked them to bring a pickaxe and dig in a particular place. When it was dug, bricks were found underneath a flat stone. When the stone was removed, a corridor was seen in which 4 samayis, lights, were burning. The corridor led to a cellar where cow-mouth shaped structures, wooden boards, rosaries were seen. Kandhova said, this lad practiced penance here for 12 years. Then the people began to question the lad about this. He put them off by telling them that this was his guru's place, his holy vatan, and requested them to guard this well. The people then closed the corridors as before. As Ashwatha and Audhumbar trees are held sacred, Baba regarded this neem tree equally sacred and loved it most. Mahalsabati and other Shirdi devotees regard this site as the resting place, Samadhi Sthan of Baba's Guru, and prostrate before it. 3 Vadas. The site with the neem tree and surrounding space was bought by Mr. Harivinayak Sathe, and on this site a big building styled Sate's Vada was erected. This Vada was the sole resting place for pilgrims who flocked there. A platform was built around the neem tree and lofts with steps were constructed. Under the steps there is a nice facing south, and devotees sit on the platform facing north. It is believed that he who burns incense there on Thursday and Friday evenings will by God's grace be happy. This Vada was old and dilapidated and needed repairs. The necessary repairs, additions, and alterations have been made now by Samsthan. Second Vada. Then, after some years, another Vada, Dikshit's Vada, was constructed. Kaka Sahib Dikshit, solicitor of Mumbai, had gone to England. He had injured his leg in an accident there. The injury could not be got rid of by any means. Nana Sahib Chandorkar advised him to see Sai Baba, so he went to Sai Baba in 1909 and requested him to cure the lameness of his mind rather than the lameness of his leg. He was so much pleased with the darshan of Sai Baba that he decided to reside in Shirdi. So he built a Vada for himself and other devotees. The foundation of this building was laid on 10th December 1910. On this day, the two important events took place. First event was Mr. Dada Sahib Khapade was given permission to return home, and the second event is the night Harti at the Chavadi was started. The Vada was completed and was inhabited on the Ramanavami day in 1911 with due rites and formalities. Now let us come to third Vada. Then another Vada or palatial mansion was put up by the famous millionaire Mr. Booty of Nagpur. A lot of money was spent on this building, but it was all well utilized as Sai Baba's body is resting in this Vada, which is now we call them as Samadhi Mandir. The site of this mandir formerly had a garden which was watered and looked after by Sai Baba. Three Vadas thus came up where there was none formerly. Of these, Sate's Vada was most useful to all in the early days. The story of the garden, which was attended by Sai Baba with the help of Vamantatya, the temporary absence of Sai Baba from Shirdi and his coming again to Shirdi with the marriage party of Chand Patil, the company of Devi Das, Janaki Das, and Gangagir, Baba's wrestling match with the Mohiddin Tamboli residing in the masjid, love of Mr. Dengle and other devotees, and other incidents will be described in the next chapter. Bhav to Shri Sai, peace be to all.